Hello, children. A warm welcome to this English class. Today's session we are going to learn from Unit 4 poem. The title is The Spider and the Fly and it was written by Mary Botham Howitt. First, we see about the poet. Mary Botham Howitt was born on 12th March 1799. She was an English poet. She was born at Colford in Gloucestershire. She was educated at home and read widely. She commenced writing verses at a very early age. Together with her husband, William Howitt, she wrote over 180 books. Mary started writing poems and short stories for children after they took up residence in the Surrey of Esher in 1837. She was a 19th century English author who is best remembered for her famous children's poem The Spider and the Fly. She died on 30th January 1888. Okay, if your little brother or sister does not like to eat any of these following vegetables, so how will you make him or her to eat them? Yes, obviously, we will explain about the nutritious values of these vegetables or else we will explain them how it helps us in maintaining our health, isn't it? Yes. Okay, what are the tempting words you might use to convince them? Yes, you will tell them to buy ice cream for them or else nowadays you will offer mobile phone if they finish eat the vegetables, isn't it? Yes. So not only this, you will use some other tempting words also to convince them, isn't it? Yes. So here we have the poem The Spider and the Fly. Let's see how the spider attracts the fly by using few tempting words. Okay? First, we see the gist of the poem. In The Spider and the Fly, a spider flatters a fly in an attempt to attract her into his parlor so he may eat her. While the fly at first rejects the spider's offer of food and comfort, she is finally convinced after the spider flatters her appearance. She never comes from his parlor again. The poem ends with the speaker addressing the readers, warning them to never fall victim to flattery. Let's see the poem in detail. Children, listen carefully. Meanwhile, I'll ask you a question. Okay? Yes. The spider and the fly. Will you walk into my parlor? Said the spider to the fly. This the prettiest little parlor that ever you did spy. The way into my parlor is up a winding stair, and I have many curious things to show when you are there. Oh, no, said the little fly. To ask me is in vain, for who goes up your winding stair can never come down again. Here, the poem opens with a dialogue between a predator, that is the spider, and a prey, that is the fly. The spider tries to attract the fly with a charming invitation into his home. So, the spider says that he has many pretty things to show her inside the parlor. The spider portrays his home as a mysterious place, that is the secret place, has the prettiest little parlor to trick the little fly into his web. The fly understands that it is a trap and rejects his invitation by saying that she knows very well that whoever goes in there, they never ever comes out. Okay, how to reach the spider's parlor? Yes, the spider's parlor can be reached through a winding stair. Okay, yes. What will the fly get to see in the parlor? Yes, the fly will get to see many curious things in the parlor, isn't it? Yes. I'm sure you must be weary, dear, with soaring up so high. Will you rest upon my little bed? Said the spider to the fly. There are pretty curtains drawn around. The sheets are fine and thin. And if you like to rest a while, I'll snugly tuck you in. Oh, no, no, said the little fly, for I have often heard it said, they never, never wake again who sleep upon your bed. Here, the spider employs a different trick to convince the fly to enter his house. He shows fake concern for her by saying that she must be tired and offers her to get some rest on his little bed. He tries to tempt her with a false sense of security as he says that there are pretty curtains drawn around. He tries to appeal to the fly's heart by cunningly offering a shoulder to rest. He tries to establish a connection before he gets ready to eat his prey. Thankfully, exhausted or not, the fly is aware of the fact that if she goes into rest, she might end up sleeping forever. So, she refuses the spider's offer and says that she is absolutely aware that whoever goes to sleep on his bed never wakes up. The repetition of the word never emphasizes on the distrust of the fly for the spider. Said the cunning spider to the fly, dear friend, what can I do to prove the warm affection I have always felt for you? I have within my pantry good store of all that's nice. I am sure you are very welcome. Will you please to take a slice? Oh, no, no, said the little fly. Kind sir, that cannot be. I have heard what is in your pantry and I do not wish to see. This time, the spider tries to befriend the fly by calling her dear friend. He wants to establish a false bond of friendship and affection in order to attract the fly into his home. Again, he tries to persuade the fly to fulfill his wish by offering her good food from his pantry. So, the fly is, however, determined not to be tricked by the cunning spider. She tactfully refers to the spider as kind sir and tells him that she is not interested in seeing what he has to offer her. Okay, is the fly willing to enter the spider's pantry? No, the fly is not willing to enter the spider's pantry, isn't it? Yes. Can you guess what was there in the spider's pantry? Yes, only remains of dead flies and insects may be found in the spider's pantry, isn't it? Yes. Sweet creature, said the spider, you are witty and you are wise. How handsome are your cozy wings? How brilliant are your eyes? I have a little looking glass upon my parlor shelf. If you will step in one moment, dear, you shall behold yourself. I thank you, gentle sir, she said, for what you are pleased to say. And bidding you good morning now, I'll call another day. The spider does not give up. This time it tries to flatter the fly into doing what he wants her to do. He calls her a sweet creature and acknowledges that the fly's smartness and decides to attract her by repeatedly complimenting her. He also compliments her appearance. He wants to show the fly how beautiful she is by offering her a looking glass to look at herself and appreciate her own beauty. Every time the fly refuses the spider's offer, but this time Either the fly is quite flattered or perhaps she tries to stall the spider by saying that she will visit him some other day. Okay, list out the words used by the spider to describe the fly. Yes, sweet, witty, wise, handsome, gauzy, and brilliant. All these words are used by the spider to describe the fly, isn't it? Yes. The spider turned him round about and went into his den, for well he knew the silly fly would soon come back again. So he wove a subtle web in a little corner fly and set his table ready to dine upon the fly. The spider calls the fly a silly because she was tricked by the spider and she started to trust him. He is confident that she will come back to his parlor again. He is seen gloating. He waves a web ready to trap the fly. His devious plan comes to light as he sets his table for the fly, not as his guest to dine with, but as his feast to dine on. Then he came out to his door again and merrily did sing. Come hither, hither, pretty fly, with a pearl and silver wing. Your robes are green and purple, there is crest upon your head. Your eyes are like the diamond bright, but mine are dull as lead. The spider calls out the fly eagerly. Feeling like he has bited his prey, the spider rapidly reels the fly with vivid flattery. The robes of green and purple refers to the color of the fly's body. The crest or crown likely the fly's antenna. Gauzy wings have now become pearl and silver wing. Brilliant eyes are now eyes like a diamond bright. Like this, the spider praises the beauty of the fly and it tries to attract and impress the fly. Hellos, hellos! How very soon the silly little fly, hearing his wily flattering words, came slowly flitting by. With buzzing wings she hung afloat, then near and nearer drew, thinking only of her brilliant eyes and green and purple hue, thinking only of her crested head. Poor foolish thing! The spider seems ever more confident now. The weapon of vanity worked out for him, and he finally deceived the fly to fall into his evil desire. The fly is bewitched by the spider's flattery and decides to slowly approach the spider's web. The fly is engrossed in her own beauty and thinks only of her brilliant eyes and her crested head. Okay, who does she refer to here? Yes, she refers to the fly, isn't it? Okay, what was she thinking of? She was thinking of her beautiful eyes and the colors of her wings, isn't it? Yes. At last, up jumped the cunning spider and fiercely held her fast. He dragged her up his winding stair into his dismal den within his little parlor, but she never came out again. Taking advantage of this moment, the spider pounces on her and fiercely catches her. The spider quickly drags her up to his winding stair and then to his den and finally to his little parlor. The fly's words finally hold true for her own self as well as she never comes out of the devious fly's home. And now, dear little children, who may this story read, to idle, silly, flattering words, I pray you never give heed. Unto an evil counselor, Close heart and ear and eye and take a lesson from this tale of the spider and the fly. Okay, can you see or observe a sudden change in the tone and narration of the poem in this stanza? Yes, the poet carefully transforms the story into a message to the children, those who are reading this poem. The poet advises and warns the children not to pay attention to idle, silly, and flattering words. She asks everyone to take a lesson from the story of the spider and the fly and asks them not to commit the same mistake that the fly committed. Okay, what is the advice given to the readers? Yes, the poet advises us not to fall a prey to flattery and sweet words, isn't it? Okay, who does I refer to? Yes, you are correct. I refers to the poet. Okay? Yes. Let's see few glossaries from the poem. Parlor, a tidy room in a house used for entertaining guests. Winding, a twisting movement or course. Weary, very tired. Pantry, a room where beverages, food, dishes are stored. Subtle, delicate or faint and mysterious. Flattering, to praise or compliment insincerely. Counselor, a person who advises. Let's see few key points for better understanding. The spider invites the fly to his parlor, promising many pretty sights. But the fly refuses the offer by saying that those who go to his parlor never return. He then offers the weary fly his bed to take some rest, describing his beautiful curtains. She refuses by saying that the one who sleep in his bed never wake up. He then offers her some food and invites her to have a look at his pantry. She refuses once again. Now he praises her wit, wisdom, and beauty and asks her to have a look in the mirror of his parlor. She refuses but says she'll come another day. Sure of a return, he goes to his den, sets the table, and flatters the fly with pearl and silver wing, beckoning her towards him. Overwhelmed by flattery, the fly approaches the spider, who latches onto her and drags her to his den from where she will never return. The poem ends by suggesting little children to be wary of the flatterers of the real world. Okay, children, up to this the poem gets over. Hope you understand. If you have any doubt, please ping me and do the given assignments. Okay, thank you.